We do
Oh, really?
have a forum now.
And I always go,
That's right. There's always
and they go,
tomorrow.
oh, I need this done today. I go, okay.
You
Ba, 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 ba. You tell me what's the, going.
Okay, well,
Well,
it is 9 o'clock sharp, and we have quorum. So we will move. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Welcome to the October 18th meeting of the Regional Project Coordination Committee. With that and with quorum, we will go to item 1, our first comment period for citizen participation. No action can be taken under any matter discussed under this item, although this committee can direct that it be placed on a future agenda. Is there any citizen comment? Hearing none.
And Mr. Chair, I will just say that we have a newly designated alternate for Clark County Public Works, Ms. Tammy Tiger.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Tammy.
Welcome.
Hi.
Welcome.
Welcome.
We'll pair you up later.
I got to do a presentation my first day, so I thought
Oh,
that
this is awesome.
jump right in.
There's no better person to handle that, Tammy.
It's a rough crowd, though. Be prepared. It's a
Yeah.
rough crowd.
No better person.
Okay, moving on to item 2, approval of amended minutes. This goes back to the minutes of August 16th that had some revisions that were discussed, and we decided that they would be reprinted and formally approved in this meeting. So, do we all make a motion, I believe we can, for approval of the August 16th amended minutes? All in favor? Aye.
Yeah.
Any opposed? Hearing none opposed, the amended minutes for August 16th are approved. Item 3, approval of minutes for the last meeting, September 20th. Does anyone have any comments or amendments to those minutes? Hearing none, I'll make a motion myself for approval of the September 20th minutes. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? No nays. The minutes are approved. 4, receive an updated list of entity and utility company contact persons and direct staff accordingly for possible action. Are there any updates or changes to the contact list?
None that we are aware of, other than Ms. Tammy Tiger from Clark County, as previously stated.
Okay. Is she, I was just curious, is she currently listed then?
She is in your member alternate list, because
Okay.
I was able to get
Okay.
Tammy in there.
So it's already in there? And then I thought somebody else.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
at Water Reclamation, we will be removing Joe Damiani as Principal Engineer of Development.
What?
and
Who?
Heidi Martell.
Sorry,
Heidi
like
Martell?
that.
Martell,
Martell.
M-A-R-T-E-L-L. I'll email over the phone number sometime today.
You had enough, Joe?
What's that?
You had enough, or what?
Thank you for that. We will make that change.
And as I quietly said to Mr. Damiani, congratulations for his new position, I will say it officially and make it in the minutes. Congratulations for your new position at RTC.
Thank you. It's glad to be back.
We're glad to have
Okay.
you.
Item 5, we had a request from NV Energy. I'm just going to read what was emailed to me. Item 5, for possible action, received of member energy updates. Please note that Nevada Energy has requested that we pull their presentation for this meeting. The presentation concerned a project that is in the area and on the site of Mandalay Bay where the recent tragedy took place. NV Energy and the Las Vegas Monorail appreciate the committee's understanding about the request to pull it in light of the sensitivities of the recent tragedy. NV Energy will make be making a presentation at a future meeting.
Very good, and we certainly appreciate that and understand. So with that, Mr. Chairman, we have Tammy Tiger here to provide the entity presentation for this month's meeting. And we're very happy to have her, so take it away, Tammy.
All right. Let's see. I don't need to do anything with this, right? Good. Hi, everyone. Again, Tammy Tiger. I'm the Department Administrator for Clark County Department of Public Works, and I'm here today to share with you our capital improvement program. So the county's road CIP is made up of various sources comprising the funds listed here, and they do include the 1% room tax, 1% motor vehicle privilege tax, development tax, sales tax, and motor vehicle fuel taxes. Our budget for the years 2018 to 2022 is about $2.3 billion, allowing us to design and construct over 175 projects over the next 5 years. This is a snapshot of all of our projects that are on the CIP. It represents everything that's planned, under design, and in construction. The color coding is by the primary funding source. So if you look towards the center of the map, it's a little hard to see, but that navy is the Resort Corridor Fund. The fuchsia is flood. Hard to distinguish between the fuchsia and the red, but that's the county capital funds projects, and the green are all RTC sourced funding.
That's great.
So I thought the most clear way to present this with the coordination in mind would be to have the jurisdictions kind of highlighted over the different areas of the valley. And so you have some public works data. Looks like you need some more. We'll need to get that over to you. The projects I'd like to highlight in the Northwest Valley would be Ann Road, 215 to Durango, Fort Apache, Alexander to 215. It's that green line running right down the middle of the county's area. That's the city surrounding it. We have the section of Fort Apache from Lone Mountain north to 215 starting soon. The Lone Mountain Improvement Project from 215 to Tenaya is currently under an expedited design so that we can complete it with the opening of the new interchange on the Beltway project that's from Quake to Wallapai there in the red. So we expect to have that open with completion of that project the end of next summer. And Elkhorn, Wallapai to Grand Canyon. Going over to the Northeast Valley, we are constructing a new roadway along the Arnona Road alignment. That's like the far east green line up there.
What's the alignment?
An Arnona.
Arnona.
Arnona Road.
Interesting.
Between Lake Mead and Alto. This is going to move the existing truck route from Mount Hood north of Lake Mead over to Arnona. And then we're going to reconstruct Mount Hood. Cary Avenue, Nellis to Toyabe. We are working with Nellis Air Force Base to realign and connect Cary Avenue over Sloan Channel. And we just closed the comment period on the draft environmental assessment hearing for that project. Hollywood, Charleston to Lake Mead will go to construction next year. Hollywood, Sahara to Charleston, and Sahara South to Wetlands Park are both on the CIP as separate projects. We currently have a water line relocation under design along Hollywood between Vegas Valley and Sahara that will also pave a sawtooth at the intersection. We also have plans to reconstruct and Desert Inn, Nellis to Hollywood, and connect DI over the Wash to connect to Hollywood and add bike lanes on that route.
What's the time frame on that, roughly?
DI, all of these are within the 3-year design period.
Oh, that's fine, Tammy.
Well, I can pull it afterward if you
Yeah,
want.
yeah, no
I have a separate list here with the details.
I thought you may have just had it at your fingertips. No problem.
I don't have them all memorized yet.
No.
Sorry.
That's okay. Thank you.
In the Southeast Valley near our friends in Henderson, we have, who are in the purple, continuing our resurface of Eastern Avenue between Flamingo Road and DI in separate contracts. A portion of that is with the water reclamation project that's currently underway. We also are installing ITS infrastructure in Eastern between Flamingo and Sahara Avenue. Both of those Eastern projects and the ITS, we plan to have start construction next spring. We also will resurface Maryland Parkway, Russell to Twain, and install ITS in Maryland between Flamingo and Sahara. And all of the ITS projects are in one contract bidding out together right now. Currently under bid is Eastern, currently under bid also with Eastern is Maryland Parkway, Twain North to Flamingo. Next in that area, we have Russell Road, Burnham to Mountain Vista, Harmon Avenue, Burnham to Mountain Vista. We also have Swenson, Harmon to Sahara, Cactus Avenue, Las Vegas Boulevard to Spencer Street with a new storm drain in Haven Street. And on the Southern Beltway, we plan to continue east with the widening, picking back up at Windmill Lane over to the Pecos St. Rose interchange. Southwest has, they were kind of hit, one of the hardest areas hit with the economic downturn, so they've had a lot of improvements we've been waiting for. We'll start with the Beltway. We plan to widen between I-15 West to Decatur, and then in a separate project, we'll pick it up from Decatur and continue west to Tropicana. On South Decatur, we will widen Russell Road south to Warm Springs, and then we have a separate project to take Warm Spring improvements, or take Decatur improvements from Warm Springs south to Cactus Avenue, where it goes into Southern Highlands. On Cactus, we will pick up from our grade separation at the railroad where it touches down at Verona Wood, and constructible improvements going east to Valley View. Also in this area is a new pedestrian bridge over the railroad along the Erie alignment. You see that dot on the left side. It's in front of the Desert Oasis High School. Connects Southern Highlands and Mountains Edge communities. Let's see. Going over to Jones, we will widen Cactus and between Blue Diamond. We will widen Jones between Cactus and Blue Diamond, and then in a separate project, we'll continue north of Blue Diamond with the bridge structure over the railroad and connect Jones up to Windmill Lane. We have Durango Drive, long-awaited widening between Blue Diamond and Windmill Lane. We plan to have that advertising by next spring. Fort Apache, Warm Springs to Tropicana, still working on right-of-way acquisition, but we hope to advertise that for construction next year as well. And then we have full improvements coming to Russell Road, Cimarron to Rainbow, Tropicana, Hualapai to Fort Apache, Sunset, Rainbow to Decatur, and Spring Mountain, Rainbow to Valley View. In the resort corridor, on and around the Las Vegas Strip, we have improvements coming to Elvis Presley Boulevard between Las Vegas Boulevard and Paradise Road. Those improvements will be similar to what we just completed on Convention Center Drive. Flamingo Wash from Dean Mountain to Hotel Rio Drive. The Harmon Avenue will be widened between Decatur and Wynn, and then also on the east side between Audrey and Koval in order to prepare for the Harmon Valley View grade separation project over the railroad. That will also start construction next year. Let's see. We also have improvements coming to Joe W. Brown, Karen Avenue, Paradise to Maryland Parkway, Koval Lane, Tropicana to Sands, widening and resurfacing, Paradise Road, Harmon to Twain, resurfacing. And on the boulevard, we are constructing sidewalk improvements from the welcome sign south to Sunset. And we have under design 2 new pedestrian bridges over the boulevard. One is that where the T-Mobile is, Park Avenue to MGM, and the other will be just north of that at Bellagio Paris intersection. New traffic signal systems coming. This is just valley-wide. We have 2 that are included with the asterisks. They're included with the roadway projects. And the other 6 listed here are in one design package that we plan to put out to bid for construction next year. So the projects I highlighted are what we have in an active design status. We look ahead 3 years, and we kind of, once it's assigned to a project manager, we start tracking it. As you know, prioritization of projects is an ongoing process. In order to accomplish our CIP and have everything awarded within the 5-year time frame, we would have to knock out, or we will knock out 35 projects a year. And added a supplement to this, which is all of our CIP projects are in your packets. It includes all the, about 175 in there.
Wow.
So I did bring some notes if you have questions I can try to address now.
Tammy,
Yeah.
do you have a list of these that I can get from you?
Well, there is a list included in the packet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Look after the presentation.
It's by fund. It's by the primary source of fund. You know, some projects have multiple sources. They have Fry and capital, county capital.
Okay.
But
And
whatever the
and it
primary
does
fund
say
is.
from where to where?
Mhm.
Okay. And also the dates and everything?
No dates.
Okay.
Do you want?
Could- Can I get some dates? Because most of the stuff that you have talked about will hit transmission and distribution, so I just wanted to see if we could coordinate that.
Okay. Anything on that list is within 5 years, and then what I went through is within 3.
Okay.
And we can provide that spreadsheet. You'll upload it to your RPCC map.
Okay, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Will that work? Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. That's where we want to put it.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you tying in the RPCC map. Did you see, did we have any glaring omissions?
Yeah.
Good.
There seem to be a lot. And then a couple that look like, unless they're on the Fry 2 list, they might be cities. Like that one at Grand Teton, I think.
Possibly. How are we getting their data, Todd?
I haven't gotten a Clark County update in a while, so.
So Carlos is our GIS tech. He said he was working with Jeff on it. Jeff
Yeah,
Turner.
we haven't got anything recent.
Yeah, nothing recent. Okay.
Okay, so maybe we, offline, we can
Yeah.
review the information exchange?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yep.
very good.
Yeah, just one quick question. If after we take these back and someone has a project in that area, can they call you for dates?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
way-
Just email me directly, and if I don't have the information, I'll just direct you to the project manager.
Perfect.
If it's been assigned, if it's not been assigned, then it's kind of in Joe and Dennis.
All right, thank you.
Can give you an idea.
Did any of the members see anything on there that was surprising, or did you have a chance to look at it, or? is this- Yeah?
Most of them, yeah.
Most of them?
More surprising?
No, well,
Oh.
surprising, but also that we need to coordinate.
Yeah. We do send out the letters once we start design to all
Mhm.
the utilities to give them notice that we have
Mhm.
projects coming up, but I know it's a shorter timeframe.
Yeah,
To
it's
be
a short
aware.
timeframe, and
Yeah.
we need a longer one, so that's
Yep.
why I wanted to get with you earlier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
So
do it.
that's great, the new information, that's what we're looking for, I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Tammy.
Okay.
You're continuing a string of really good presentations by member entities, really helpful.
Good.
I especially like the fact that you broke down your project maps into the various quadrants and clearly showed other entity boundaries. I think that's really, really helpful for
Thank you.
for the other governmental agencies, especially to show we can see right what's on the boundary of
Mhm.
our jurisdiction. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. I did try to highlight the other agencies' projects, but I could only do my own. Is that intended to be that way?
No,
Yeah, every time I try to, well, you could highlight
well, you can only do
jurisdiction.
one at a time. That's
Yeah,
probably the question. Yeah, once you turn yours on, everybody else goes
Right.
off.
'Cause I was-
Goes
and I could
off.
see
It's
if they
still
were-
early. Yeah, but we actually we're looking at a way to enhance that. It's just a programming feature.
Yeah, I
and
thought
we're-
it'd be maybe too much data at once.
Yeah, we're trying to keep it simple, but that is on the list of potential enhancements to be able to select multiple projects or multiple owners.
Yeah.
To see where those things overlap.
Mm.
So, yeah, point taken.
Right. Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you. Let's give her a hand. That was great.
Okay, item 6 is discuss potential projects on the 1 to 2 year planning list. for possible action. It's usually just an information sharing item without actions, but does anyone want to bring up specific projects on the 1 to 2 year planning list? Especially ones with, on jurisdictional boundaries or with maybe concurrent other projects nearby.
Just so you know, Mark, we opened Tropical Parkway. We issued an NTP for the Tropical Parkway connector to the 215, I-15. Las Vegas Paving's got that, and they're going to start construction here. They might have started this week. I don't know. I haven't been out there, but we gave them an NTP to start.
What was the roadway again? I'm sorry.
Tropical Parkway, yeah, the 215, I-15 connection there. We're going to drop Tropical Parkway down to the east to Lynn Lane, and then Lynn Lane to El Campo Grande.
I'm pretty sure that one's on there.
Should be on there. It's just
Yeah.
one on the boundaries that you guys should
All right.
know about.
Okay, cool. Thank
Also,
you.
we opened up bids on Gowan Road yesterday from Decatur to Losi.
Dell,
Yeah,
Commerce Sawtooth.
yes.
I talked to the contractor that you guys had awarded. However, he hasn't called back. We still have to prepare those wraps, and there was some confusion about the barricade on the corner that was supposed to be in another project that was going to try to be avoided, but I haven't received anything, so could you get with me, because we have a
You mean
contract.
wrapping the transmission pole you're talking about?
Yeah, there's several poles that were supposed to be wrapped, and there was
Right.
supposed to be a barrier, but Robert was supposed to change and send me a letter on that, that it was going to be, he wanted it removed from the contract, so I haven't received anything from him. I've been trying to get something.
Okay. I'll ask him.
Okay,
You're talking to Rob Huggins or PM on that?
yeah,
Okay. I'll have him get in touch with you.
thank you.
I'd like to mention the start of design on what the city's calling the I-15 frontage roads project, which is partly in North Las Vegas. It's been in NEPA and feasibility studies for some years with some coordination with North Las Vegas. Basically, we're going into hard design on the first phase, I believe, with Old Fry 1 money. And it's an extension of Losi Road in West Las Vegas, but it goes into North Las Vegas, and we'll continue to coordinate with North Las Vegas as we get into design. We're just in scoping with the consultant right now.
That's on the map?
I'm not sure it's on the map.
We can look.
It might. We might have gotten it on.
You want to
I'm going to bring it up.
double check? If you would, excuse me.
We-
Sorry, Jesse. His ears just blew out in the back room.
If we hadn't gotten it on the map, it could be because my project manager, until we had the scoping meeting with the consultant, wasn't exactly sure what phase 1 was going to be, because it's been with our traffic department as it's gone through environmental. So I'm crossing my fingers, you'll find it.
GIS dot, no R. No? Just GIS, okay, got an extra R in there. That's it. There,
Yeah, you had it.
dot,
Just go down. Yeah.
RTCC,
One more.
Yep.
One more down.
One more.
There you go.
Com. See, here's your map. right?
voila.
Okay.
Comes up fast. Thanks, Dad.
I am,
Doesn't look like it's in there.
I do not think it is in there.
Looks like you're going to connect up Owens to Lake Mead. Is that the plan? Mark?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool. All right, yeah, if you could just get us the boundaries, we could put it in there manually.
I don't think you'll have to. I believe my project manager has been really good on getting his projects in.
Okay, great.
So I believe he was just waiting for kind of the transfer from our traffic to us with the scoping meeting with the consultant. But we'll get it on there.
Great.
And like I said, it's partially in North Las Vegas.
You could probably convert that tropical there, that connection down to Lynn Lane and El Campo Grande to construction if you wanted.
This one. So
Yeah.
right now, this is in design, can we just put it like,
Pending construction
Pending?
or even construction?
okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah,
we'll,
the
If,
MVP, I think, was Monday. But, yeah.
okay.
all right, will do.
I'll also bring up, we have a number of projects in the medical district, in the city, not with, near any jurisdictions, but with a lot of utility issues, and that they should all be on there. Bearden is, we'll have a bid opening on, right there, connecting to where NDOT, has already pretty much finished their
I think
work.
you got a pre-bid going on today, right?
We have a pre-bid today?
Yeah.
I think right now, actually.
Oh, yeah, okay.
My other project managers at that. We coordinated a lot with the utilities on that, but the utilities were generally off the street alignment. Well, Southwest Gas was in the street and realigned for us for the new street alignment, but the overhead utilities were offline and in an easement with prior rights, but we got through all that. It's the shadow going north-south on that green line, right there. I believe that's the project,
This,
the project location.
Right, two fund.
Where am I? Scroll. Okay, that is it. I just want to make sure. So it's in there, but we've been working a lot with the utilities on undergrounding and whether existing franchise in our Title 1352 would require them to underground on their dime. We're still looking at that. We know we're going to come, depending on whether there's a cost share, we determine, and we probably end up with lawyer-to-lawyer discussions on that between the overhead utilities that are out there. We've told them to proceed with an undergrounding design because one way or another, we're going to find a way to fund it, but we're making absolutely sure that we're only trying to do what's fair with the utilities under current franchise rules. But it's a little gray, so we might be coming back to RTC, probably separate from this meeting, with an update on how that all goes and if it goes into some attorney-to-attorney discussions, because the utilities have all proceeded with the undergrounding design, but whether it's a cost share or the cost all goes one way or another, we'll come back to RTC and probably maybe even go up to Fred Ahimi to talk about what we find out, because I know RTC is cognizant that complete streets are, you really lose the whole idea of complete streets if you leave a lot of overhead in, and we have ADA issues, we have direct conflicts, and then we just have more basic concepts with the whole idea of a complete street.
Mm-hmm.
So there could be an RTC component in that. I know you support the complete street, you would support the undergrounding, but we want to reach a final determination in our mind and discuss with the utilities about possible cost share or not.
We've got a similar issue. We've had a couple meetings with attorneys with NV Energy on the same issue. We have some complete streets on Las Vegas Boulevard, and actually Gowan Road is a good example. We've requested NV Energy to underground. They consider a pole and a sidewalk not in conflict, really. They don't believe by franchise they have to lower their power. So we've been meeting with their attorneys and our attorneys and trying to convince them that the franchise requires them to lower. They also sent an interesting letter that they are not obligated by ADA standards to move their poles. They claim that the ADA standards are incumbent upon us, but not them. which I thought was kind of interesting argument from their legal counsel. I think everybody knows, I think the ADA was like around 1962. Some people say 82, I don't know when it came into play, but
Originally, yeah, the real landmark legislation was 1990 or 91, but elements of it go back into the 60s for sure.
yeah, and they say that doesn't pass down to private utilities, which is,
Well, I think it's interesting that the people in the federal government that police the ADA is the Department of Justice. It's not the FHWA.
Right.
And last time I checked, the Department of Justice has jurisdiction over private entities.
right.
So I think it's pretty clear.
That's
But-
part of their, we've got, there's a couple letters I can share with you guys probably if you want, but they, anyway,
Well, it's probably
we're
the-
sort of in an impasse with them on that also, and it's holding up a couple of our projects too. I don't know, Mark, you're
Well,
probably
maybe,
got Shadow Lane, same issue.
NBE, maybe we could
Very
get together offline just to have a little powwow. And, when the lawyers get together, it's always more dire than it really is when the more reasonable people start looking at things. So I'm sure it's probably just the first salvo to establish a position and then work from there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, this, on Shadow, the city hasn't sent a formal letter that says per franchise for 1352, which is a little different than what the county has, but it relates to undergrounding. That you have to underground your dime, start now. We haven't sent that letter yet. We're still trying to work it out in the fact that possibly there's a compromise out there. But we're pretty much in the exact same boat the county is. And we'll keep RTC in the loop. It's an RTC funded project, and it's a complete street.
Yeah, we are very interested in being a part of that discussion.
Okay, I think that's all I had under this item. Anyone else?
Good stuff, thank you.
Okay, item 7, discuss potential projects under design and/or on agency boundaries for possible action. Similar to the item 6, but a little different time frame. So I think I could have talked about mine under 6R7. So, does anyone
Well,
have?
that's why they're there.
Yeah.
Give you some options on where people are comfortable talking about stuff.
I know, once again, RTC printed out near the back some things that stood out to them as possible jurisdictional boundary or projects that might be going on that are close by, even within the same jurisdiction, but they're close by projects. And I looked at them briefly this morning, and I didn't see anyone.
On that first page, Mark, not to interrupt you, but. I guess
No,
I can
please,
say-
I was just looking, there was a sitting one towards the end, but Stuart, I didn't see anything I needed to talk about, but go ahead.
Well, I was just
Go ahead,
interested
JD.
because Ulam Elementary School replacement plan showed up on that list, which is interesting. Do we have a time frame on that, Chris?
Yeah, it should be, it's one of the ones that's gonna, it's a 2019 opening,
Okay.
so it'll be going to construction. It's in design right now, it'll be going to construction. They have to start in the spring to be open here. And that's one of the ones that they're gonna flip the site. They're gonna build the school on the playground and then tear down the existing school.
Yeah. So I think that, it's a segue to the report Joe's going to have a little later about incorporating some of the private data onto here and enhancements to the map. So we appreciate that. Is the committee aware of that? Are there opportunities to coordinate, discuss, talk? Is that helpful, having that on there?
Absolutely.
Hopefully?
Yeah, that would be, because their projects impact all of our utilities, so yeah, it will definitely be helpful.
And then, obviously, you're the best contact, right, Chris? I mean, if somebody has a question, hey, what's the time frame? You're, okay, very good. That's all we can ask.
Great.
With
Yeah.
Chris being our contact, like we have a project that's going to be near Western High School. Should we contact you if you have any questions about what the best time for working hours?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Now, it's going to be, what we're doing is we're putting in a new main on Decatur, and it's on the map from US 95 to Washington, and so it's right there next to Western
I think I've already been in contact, because you're gonna,
with our right-of-way agent.
right away, because, yeah, you're gonna need an easement.
So just for bidding purposes, just what are the best hours to work there, if there are any restrictions? I mean, you don't have to
2
answer
to
now,
3
but I'll
is-
give you a call.
Yeah, just give me a call on that.
2 o'clock to 3 o'clock.
Yeah, right.
So, but you're the best person for those conversations offline? Okay, awesome.
Giving you a hard time.
Cool.
It's still on that first page of the RTC printed out screenshots, which we're just talking about, and it shows Nellis Boulevard, which shows an NTP about a year from today. Yeah, RTC printed out, it has 7 roadway projects and 3 point projects. I'm just noticing right now that one of those point projects is Nellis Eastern Bus Turnouts, which is a local public agency job, which we've had around on the books for a long time at the city. That is moving ahead. We are hoping to move to right-of-way setting this calendar year with our federal funding, and we would be probably into construction by the time we get the right-of-way, about the time this Nellis project is going. So this is very valuable information. I believe that I will take back to the project manager for Nellis Eastern Bus Turnouts. So thanks for bringing that one out. I'm just going to look quickly myself at the other ones you printed out, as everyone is welcome to do.
JP, I had
Yeah.
some information on the Desert Inn, which has a little bit of coordination in it.
Oh, yeah.
So it's at 30% design. We were looking to get it advertised by next year, but it looks like, see, we did an interlocal with City of Las Vegas for some improvements there next to where they have that facility. And Water Reclamation has a cross-town interceptor project that might impact our schedule.
Yeah, we're trying to get ahead of you guys. We've been coordinating with Dennis and Joe on that one.
Okay.
Yours is going to slide, though?
Mhm. Well, if the coordinate, well, that's the last update I have.
Okay. We're just very interested if your schedule is going to give us more breathing room.
Okay. When did
You
you
want to talk
like-
after?
Yeah.
Great.
Thanks for that, Tammy.
Mhm.
Thank you. Good discussion on that. Taking a look real quick at the last one, which is Stewart Avenue Complete Streets. I think we're a ways off on that. We're not showing an estimated start date on that, but there are a lot of projects, including Lamb and Eastern, or with other entities. But without knowing the start of that Stewart project, I just don't have anything to note, except I'll take that back to the other design team that's doing Stewart, and let them know to take a look at the map and everything that's near that project. Anything else on the screenshots, or any other projects in design or at agency boundaries that we want to talk about today?
Just go in there and click on
Hearing none. We'll move on to item 8, which is receive a report from the Cone Management Working Group for possible action.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. The report is that the last Cone Management Working Group meeting was one of the best ones we've had. There was a lot of very project-specific conversations. Nevada Energy, David, I can't remember his last name, but Schmidt, yeah, was there, and he came prepared. He had several projects that were underway or about to become underway, which was good. That started a good conversation, and there were several meetings after the meetings, which we always appreciate. So that was excellent. With Nevada Energy on our minds, we have a request, and it's actually been out there for quite a while, to review the agency conditions of approval and general processes for getting barricade permits. And I know this is a topic that's dear to the other utilities as well. Now that we have a full staff, as you mentioned, Mr. Damiani has joined the ship here. We are going to have some time to actually get into that, so we're going to probably follow, not probably, we will follow the model that we did before, create a smaller working group, and really the first step of that is to really understand what each agency requires and what each agency is doing. At that point, we'll look for commonalities, see if there's a core a subset of things that we could call out of that, and then see what compromises, what changes might be able to be made to make that as consistent across the valley as humanly possible. So that's probably going to be the next, well, that will be the next focus of the code management group. Real briefly, the feedback that we're getting from people on the work zone near traffic signal issue is generally positive. I did have an opportunity to talk to Jeff and Mike, and they have some issues. They're manageable, I believe. It's more, I think, growing pains and understanding what that tool is for and what it's not for. They are okay, because it was mentioned last time, they're okay with continuing to participate, but we need to, and this has been on me, again, hopefully we have a little more time to get that core group of signal bosses together again, and just really review and what we can do with the website to make it clear, more clear on what that is, the intent of that and what you're not supposed to use it for. So they were okay with that, so we're not throwing the baby out with the bathwater quite yet. So anyway, that's my report, unless there are any questions.
I just wanted, my memory of the last conversation, it was basically contractors who were misusing that website and thinking it covered all the bases just to put it in there.
Yeah, exactly.
And they weren't realizing it was just to cover one kind of global coordination base and not the intricacies of actually getting the work fully okayed by the entity involved.
Correct.
Right.
So,
You want to add to that?
Yeah, no, it was just, we just had a signal fire up. The contractor went to the RTC website and notified through that avenue that they were going to turn a signal on, which we weren't aware of, and they fired it up on a Friday.
And we've had
Made a
Chantel
mess
here?
of things.
No.
We didn't know it was
And we have had conversations with
Yeah.
FAST and their technicians and engineers. And, you know, on our end, when they saw that come in and what it was, you know, they should have picked up the phone right away. And, you know, that's kind of the safety net, that's the fail-safe. You know, FAST is getting all of them. So I've had a conversation with Brian, with Dave, Chantel, and Walt, and they said, yeah. So that was a miss on our part as well, so.
Yeah, as long as you're working with Jeff and Mike, though, that's Tim, those are the guys to talk to about it.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, that's the direct line of communication, but our safety net failed on that one as well, so that's been hopefully addressed.
okay, I'm gonna bring up a barricade issue that was talked about again in the city's follow-up to the city's every few years utility coordination seminar retreat. And a specific issue had been brought to the city's attention by the water district in regarding approval of barricade plans out on, I'm forgetting, just north of Washington is Vegas Drive. And we've taken that back to the city attorney, or I'm sorry, the city.
You got lawyers on the brain, Mark.
No, yeah. No, the city engineer and the city traffic engineer. And basically, that was an issue. When our traffic department gets in what they consider approvable traffic study, they turn a barricade plan, they turn it around pretty quick. And I don't think that's the big issue with the utilities or private developers or our own CIP projects. They, of course, have to get approvable barricade plans. The issue that's been coming up is, okay, they got it all permitted, they got their contractor, and there's a whole bunch of concurrent work, and they can't work out economically viable, approvable traffic plan with the city traffic department. And it would have been nice to know that before they got their actual building permit or construction permit and then got their contractor on board. And there isn't an easy fix to that, partly because there's only so many staff and they're not going to be able to start reviewing every permit that goes in to look for concurrent projects and say, hey, don't give them the building permit, don't tell them they can get their contractor on board, because they're going to reach a log jam when they go to get their traffic control. So there isn't an easy fix, but it came up again in our follow-up yesterday that RTC actually hosted for us. Thank you very much. Follow-up to the city's retreat. It came up again, and we had hoped, because when we came back and when Adriana brought it up originally, we came back and our barricade people said, well, no, it wasn't approvable, but we never said there's no way to do it besides postpone the project for another year till Neon is done and my Washington storm drain is done, which is part of the issue why that corridor is so important. So we had hoped between very restrictive work hours, maybe even some boring, they would still manage to get an approvable plan, a mutually acceptable plan, and they never really did.
We went ahead and resubmitted another barricade plan, moving our alignment 5 feet south so that it would facilitate more traffic, and that was denied. And we since then we're going to submit moving the alignment 5 feet north. So we keep on submitting, trying to figure out how to get that going.
But it is a failing line, and there might not be a magic solution or even an after the fact, well, we could have approved this, we could have done it different. But at least the city engineer's going to go back and talk to traffic and into the intricacies of this a little bit, and including your current plan to move it the other way. And also just if there's any way, at least on some critical projects, which we know are coming in the middle, of course there'll never be another Neon, but Neon's going on for a while still, but there'll still be big projects that are concurrent. So we're going to see if there's any way that we can red flag some projects that we talk about traffic barricading, whether it's with a private developer, utility, or my own CIP, that we talk a little bit more with the barricade people. So we're going to look into that, and that's all I can promise now is we're going to look into, and maybe this has some relevance to other entities and how they do things, but we're going to try and find a magic bullet to make it better. Pull a rabbit out of my hat. Any other metaphors I can come up with? And we'll definitely keep you in the loop. And at the same time, we had an issue with Southwest Gas. They were putting in something, are doing a relocation that was needed for the Washington storm drain. The basic same thing. Issues with Rancho being a corridor, issue with a bypass corridor for Neon improvements. Washington being a bypass corridor. And they were in Washington and Rancho, and they met with their barricade, they got approved, they were told they were going to be shut down for certain Neon work, so they're approved to start, but you're not going to be able to work next weekend, very restrictive night work hours, but then something else came up, I believe it was Neon related, and they shut them down again, our barricade people, at very little notice, and that hadn't been brought up when they got their permit. So we're bringing up those two examples and
Mhm.
just seeing if we can make things better. So I thought I'd share that.
Well, I appreciate that for sure, Mark. I can say from personal experience, when I was the traffic engineer at the city of Henderson for the better part of 11 years, for some reason, the engineering division and the traffic division just seemed to have a hard time talking to one another. I'm just going to say that out in the open and bluntly. I'm not ashamed of it, I lived it. So as long as that's recognized and worked on, that's all we can ask. The one thing we have that we didn't have 2 years ago is a pretty good map. Yeah, there's room for improvement, traffic can log into that thing just as easily as engineering can log into that thing. And, the goal, as I said it many times, I won't drone on, we want to make this a thing a part of everybody's daily routine. Integrate this into your processes and use this as a springboard for conversations, not only between agencies, but intra-agency. So if we can do that, I think we're moving forward. So I appreciate you bringing that up. It is an issue. That's all I have.
Before we move on to item 9, discuss topics of interest, JP, was that, I think you mentioned you're going to bring up the possibility ever to get some private development jobs on the map so we can see those. Were you going to bring it up on item 9?
Yep.
Okay. Then moving on to item 9, discuss topics of interest. We'll start with JP.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, you mentioned it before. We're very happy to welcome Mr. Joe Damiani to the table, a familiar face around these parts. He's bringing just a fantastic perspective. He knows he's been on the regional side of it. He's been on the agency side of it. He's just, a master with CIP implementation, development. So it's a super strong addition to the team, and we're very happy to have him. And he's been out talking to lots of people, not the least of which is the Southern Nevada Home Builders. We've also been working with our GIS department for some enhancements. So he's going to get you up to speed on that.
Yeah, so, Mr. Chairman, if I may. So the segue that we just talked about, what we're trying to do with this map, its ultimate goal is to become the region-wide area that shows all projects within 1 to 3 years. Okay, so we are, we're going to take all the capital plans from each agency, show them on here, only the ones that have funding in them in the first 3 years. All the other stuff is just it'll either get beyond 3 years or whatever, so it doesn't clog the map. The other thing we're doing, if you zoom in a little bit, Dante, we're starting to add parcel numbers, parcel data, so you'll be able to sort by parcel. Just zoom in. So parcel data is already starting to get added in, and then so you'll be able to sort or search by a parcel number that'll zoom into the particular area. And then the other exciting thing we're going to start doing is adding the development stuff. So what we're working on is we will be adding in all of the approved entitlements as they go through each agency. Roughly the developments, tentative maps, and larger areas that would impact the roadways. And then we're coordinating with the home builders and the development services groups for each agency to get a notification when the engineers submit an off-site set of plans, that we will then add that to that parcel to show that that now parcel is in design, so that we can help coordinate those things as they go through. So developers can use this to see what large capital projects the agencies are doing to help coordinate with their work, as well as when the developments start to go into design to see how we can work and coordinate these timeframes better. And with that, to really understand, the conversation, Tim, that you had with it's the kind of the stuff that we're trying to avoid is to have me go first, you go second, right? If we're using the corridor and we have multiple projects in there, we really have to do a better job as a regional agency to say, let's include these in your project. I know nobody likes to work agreements with agencies. You all don't seem to play well in the sandbox, but we would help to try to help facilitate those type of things, because that's what's the best interest of the public, is to get these corridors being constructed once. You know what I mean? And that's what this map is really gonna try to intend to do and get it to be real coordination, things that are 1 to 3 years out. Now, once they go to construction, we wanna move them to the cone management map. So then that part can then be managed on that end, because then it's too late for us. We wanna be doing it from the 1 to 3, right? So we'll deal with the capital plans as well as the development. We're gonna try like hell to get as much past stuff we can on the development side, working with the development services groups, as well as we will be keeping it going forward from this point. So we're gonna try to do that. So hopefully by January, we'll have some decent data on here that we can actually display and start utilizing, those things. So if anybody has any, help or can push things along through their agencies, please let me know, and then I'll be glad to help keep pushing. But we're gonna try to make this the best regional coordinated map there is. I mean, if we're gonna do it, let's do it, and let's do it right and make it useful for everybody. And the development community, the developers, they're excited about it as well, because they get the brunt of it as well, because they'll go in and do a road that somebody just did, or they'll do it, and then somebody will come in right behind them and do it. So their people get a lot of slack from that as well. So we'd like to try to coordinate that and make that not happen as much.
Developers are people too, for sure. And they build a lot of our infrastructure, a lot of our roadways. That's undeniable. So, this was something that, Chris, he's not here, he's actually helping the city of Las Vegas select a new barricade inspector, I believe. So that's good, adding resources. We appreciate that. And Henderson recently added a barricade inspector too. That's probably should have been included in my cone management report. But, Chris has been going around and he finds things out in the field. He finds things when he's looking at the cameras. He's got good relationships with the field people, so he'll find what you're doing, how long you're going to be here, and, he'll call Todd. He'll put him on the map. Dante's doing the same thing kind of on the design planning side. So this is, we're moving from kind of catch can to a more systematic approach, working initially with the home builders, but we're also going to bring in the commercial builders, NAIOP. Chris has got some contacts with some industrial developers. We're getting that information up here. So again, trying to create a one-stop shop for everybody to use. And we nothing's cast in stone. If we need to add something, subtract something, let us know. It's a work in progress.
I'm just very happy to hear that that's going to happen, because the private development it's just as important as the capital projects. I mean, we're there in the same road, so that's a fantastic idea.
Thank you. Thank you. That's all I had for number 9, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, any other items under 9? Discuss topics of interest. Hearing none, we'll move on to item 10. It's our second comment period for citizen participation. Once again, no action can be taken on any matter discussed on this item. All of the committee can be directed to be placed on another agenda. Any citizen comments? Hearing none. Well, before I close, there's probably nobody in this room more than 0 to 1 degrees of separation from the Mandalay Bay deal.
Yeah.
I heard about it on the radio driving north to Idaho and stopped by a diner on the way. And 2 weeks later, when I went back, the lady I talked to in some depth, we talked about retirement up there and properties. By the time I got back, she found out her niece had been shot, saved by a local hero, and just wanted to end on our prayers to everyone who's been affected.
Yeah, well said. Thank you.
Closed.
Okay. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah. You know what's